Hello, people. Welcome back to another session by Digital Titans, and this is another session where we would be talking about something called as AdWords bidding, which is a very critical part of Google AdWords, in fact. And let me ask you an honest question up front: who doesn't want money? Everybody wants money, right? Now, making money doesn't just depend upon how you generate money or revenue, but it also depends upon the, where all can you reduce your expenses, or how do you cut your expenses so that you could maximize your revenue? And that's a very, very, very integral part of Google AdWords, because Google AdWords is not just about generating sales or getting more leads or getting more revenues. It's also about spending wisely, spending thoughtfully, and making sure you're spending money in terms of bidding to achieve your goals, and not just praying and praying for things to work out, right? So that brings us to this topic where we would be talking about the various methods where an advertiser could decide how he wants to bid for AdWords, and what are the strategies, and how what are the methods basically available. And strategies we would be talking about a little down the road, but at this point in time we would be understanding about how can an advertiser spend when it comes to when it comes to advertising on Google. So moving forward, we know that it's all auction based, right? Now we know spending is going to be auction based. We know that's auction based, and what does auction mean? I mean, auction based bidding in a way says whoever bids higher wins the auction, right? In our case, when we say winning the auction means an advertiser would rank higher, right? However, there are a lot of other factors that matter, as we had discussed in the past. It not just depends upon the money, and trust me, guys, AdWords is not just about making. It's not just a money game. Google is not dumb, and Google is not stupid just to let advertisers ads show up on the top just because they're spending higher, or they have a spending potential, right? Now that's nonsense. What Google does is Google takes into account a few factors like your bid and budget, of course, and it takes your keyword relevance into account, and it takes your AdWords account structure. How much pain have you taken in creating a better account structure that's clear for the system to understand? Are you using ad extensions? Are your ads more relevant? Are they giving out at most information to the user? So it takes all these things into account in deciding where to show your ad. However, let's pay attention and try and understand that bid is also a part of AdWords deciding where to show your ads, right? Now, leaving all these things aside, how do users bid? Do they have a choice? Can they decide how they want to pay? Now, what are the types of bidding? How can one decide what he wants to bid, right? Now, he can either choose cost per click. An advertiser can pay to Google depending upon whether the is he comfortable paying for clicks. When somebody searches on Google and an ad shows up and a user clicks on the ad, does the advertiser pay for the click? It depends upon the very fact that is the advertiser comfortable for paying for clicks? I mean, if he's okay, or if he's comfortable for paying for clicks, and if he's able to make a profit even after paying for the click, then he's more than welcome there, right? So here is how it works. So you go to google.com as a user, you search for something called as, let's say, buying a phone, and you see a couple of ads. You click on the ads and you buy the phone, right? Whether you buy the phone or not buy the phone, the advertiser still has to pay to Google because a user clicked on the ad. Now, if a user chooses something called a CPC, as it's there in the previous session, which is cost per click, now the advertiser would be paying Google for the number of clicks the users have given him, or the number of users who have clicked on the ad, right? The second option is cost per impression. All right, now that we have spoken about cost per click, let's talk about what cost per impressions mean. Now, all of us understand the fact that an impression is something which happens when your ad gets shown once. Now, you are an advertiser and you have created an ad, and when a user searches for your keyword and your ad shows up, it is counted as one impression. Now, cost per impressions carry a very, very meaningful modus operandi, or the way they operate, right? Now, the way they work is something like this. Imagine you are a non-profit organization who wouldn't have enough funds left to advertise or to go aggressively bid on keywords and to spend money for clicks. Now, because paying for clicks is a very aggressive market. Now, if you're a non-profit organization, you could not afford to do that because your very way of operation is to raise more funds or to generate more money, right? Now, if you're a organization like that, and you cannot compete in terms of clicks, the next best option for you would be to pay for impressions. Now, what's more dangerous, whether to pay for clicks or to pay for impressions? Obviously, when you tell Google that you would be paying for impressions, that's more dangerous, right? Because you're just paying when your ad gets shown, and that's quite risky than paying after your ad shows and clicking for your ads. Now, how is CPM, which is cost per impressions, different from CPC, which is cost per clicks? Is the very fact that when your ad gets shown 1000 times, you pay once. Now that's cost per impressions. So this would suit the non-profit organization's example because you're not paying for clicks, but you're not paying for clicks when everybody clicks on your ads, right? You're not paying for clicks when a user comes to your goes to Google, searches for your ad or clicks on it. You're paying when your ad gets displayed 1000 times. Now that's more smarter, more efficient than for a non-profit organization than to bid aggressively and pay for clicks, right? Now moving forward, let's talk about cost per action. Now let's take Amazon. If Amazon goes to Google and tells Google that, you know what, when people search for a product, let's say a mobile phone on Google, there's no guarantee that they're going to buy it from Amazon anyways, because it depends upon a lot of factors like the shipping and the price and what additional features or cashbacks in this competitive world. Now, Amazon says, I will not pay for clicks, I will not pay for impressions. I would pay when somebody purchases something on my website. Now, isn't that fair enough? Think about it. Now, Amazon says, since AdWords is the most profitable platform, why not let me pay when somebody purchases on my website rather than paying for clicks or for impressions? Now, that's a very meaningful thought. Now, if an advertiser wants to go ahead with that method of operation, that's called as cost per action or cost per acquisition. It's also called as CPA, right? Now, of course, there are certain things like it depends upon how much you pay. If you pay for CPC, that's different. If you pay for CPM, which is cost for impressions, that's going to be different. And when you're paying for CPA, which is cost per action, that's going to be different. And apart from these things, there are different conditions that an advertiser would have to meet if he wants to choose any of these methods. Now, it's completely agreed that an advertiser has the complete flexibility to choose what he wants to based upon his business requirement, but nevertheless, there are certain conditions that have to be met. And we would be talking about what these conditions are going forward in the next sessions. But as of now, how do you choose the best way to bid? I mean, how do you decide what's the best way for you to bid? Should you go for CPC? Should you go for CPM? Should you go for CPA? Which one is the best thing, right? Now that's a meaningful thought. Now the first thing that matters is the goal of the advertising is the only deciding factor. Why are you advertising? Are you trying to get more sales? Are you trying to spread awareness? Are you trying to get more conversions? What are you trying to do? I mean, it's as simple as it can get. Now, if your advertising goal would be the only driving factor that decides the way you should bid, right? Now, agreed, the advertiser has the functionality to switch between CPC, CPM, and CPA in the course of the process of advertising with Google, but the driving factor or the deciding factor should always be what's the advertising goal? What do I want to achieve? If I want to achieve a lot of eyeballs, as you call them in digital marketing terminology, if you want a lot of people to see your ads on Google and get to know about your brand, now CPM, which is cost per impressions, may be the best opportunity. Now, if you're talking about e-commerce, it could CPC or CPA could be the best opportunity. So it's always the advertising goal. Now, what do you want to achieve decides how you want to pay, right? So let's move forward. And how do you change the bidding strategy? Agreed that I have decided that I want to switch from, let's say, cost per click to cost per impression or cost per acquisition. Now, technically, when it comes to the AdWords interface, how would you change it, right? Now, I would show that to you in a couple of seconds, which is this, right? Now, you go to an AdWords account. Now, let's go to the AdWords account. Let's go back to the original interface. Okay, these are my campaigns. And let's take campaign number 1. And if I want to change the bidding strategy of any of these campaigns, you would simply go to the settings of the campaigns. Right? When you go to the settings of the campaign, there is an option called bidding, right? Now click on this and this would give you a functionality as to change your bidding strategy. If you're going for a manual bidding, you would enter your CPC bid limit here. But if you want to change your bid strategy, you would simply click on this option and you could choose whatever you want to change from this drop down, right? Now if you want to pay for CPA, you would choose this. If you want to pay for impressions, you would choose another thing. And you will not see cost per impressions because this is a search campaign, but we will talk about all those things later. Technically, if you ever want to change your bidding option, go to settings in the campaign, click on the drop down under bidding options and choose whatever you want and just keep rocking, right? Now that's how you would change the bidding option technically. And all right, so that's how you change the bidding strategy. Now, all right, so now that we have seen how to change bid strategy, let's move forward. That's a good thought, right? Now, what are we talking about? We're talking about, please pay attention to the following statement, which says, changing bid strategy and forming a bid strategy are two different things, right? What we have seen in the previous session where we had gone to the AdWords account and tried changing the way we bid is completely different from how would you change a bid strategy or how would you form a bid strategy. Now that depends upon a lot of factors like your budget, how much you're spending, and when you sell something, what's the return that you're going to make on it, and is does it make you, I mean, does it help you end up with a profit? All these factors come into deciding forming a bid strategy. Now, since we are still in the creation part of AdWords and we're still trying to get ourselves familiar with a lot of basics as far as AdWords is concerned, we would be talking about forming a bid strategy later, but it's just a very interesting thought at this point in time to know that changing a bid strategy technically in the AdWords account interface is completely different from forming a bid strategy, because forming a bid strategy needs a lot of understanding about your business and about the product called Google AdWords, right? And we take the credit for that. All right. So moving forward, let's see how one can change the bid strategy, which we have seen. How do I formulate a bid strategy? I think it's a little bit too early for us to figure that out. And we would be talking about what things to keep in mind when you formulate a bid strategy. And we would be taking you ahead with a step-by-step process or a checklist of what needs to be done when you form a bid strategy, right? That's it. Thank you so much for staying with us. And if you have any questions, please, you know what to do. Just go to www.titans.digital and please subscribe to our channel on YouTube. And we promise you not to spam you or to send you too many spammy emails or to spam you with a lot of unwanted information. We would be able to provide you the most clear-cut information which will help you in your digital marketing journey. All right, so that's Digital Titans taking a leave from you. Have fun. See you later. Thanks.